So do we have a collective responsibility to bring back species whose extinctions are because of human actions?
Researchers say that we're currently going through a sixth mass extinction, in which species vanish much faster than they're being replaced. Yet this is the first time that resulted completely from human actions.
The thing with the natural world is that actions have knock-on effects, leading to long-term impacts, and that is why it is so important to take responsibility to right our wrongs and bring back species whose extinctions we have caused.
However, we also need to consider the technicalities of the situation. I think it's only worth it if the species can actually be reintroduced such that it can survive in a habitat on its own.
Some also believe in the technological imperative in which technology is inevitable and so must be developed or used.
Of course, an opposing argument would be that just because we have it doesn't mean we have to act on it. Despite the benefits that this technology could bring, there are many other prevalent issues that we could focus on first. To tell me everything else we've just said, the idea of de-extinction just feels wrong. Who are we to control the evolutionary process and dictate which organisms are allowed to be in the world to better ourselves?
Regarding how not everybody believes in a god, the argument of you're playing God and therefore are doing something wrong is pretty empty in its most straightforward sense. It's defended using other arguments such as utilitarian ones like how there will be negative consequences and this should therefore should be avoided. But you pretty much said it yourself too. It feels wrong.
People naturally jump into ideas which are culturally fed into them or are habitual and don't think as deep into why they have that conclusion.
But surely it still has some impact. It's quite a persistent argument considering how often it's brought up, even if it's not always regarded as important.
True. The playing God argument is a symbolic one. It lends itself more to psychological impacts rather than if something is morally right or wrong. Its importance stems from beliefs and cultures which form the basics of one identity.
So is the responsibility to fixing the world greater or the responsibility to the rights of the animals greater?
As stewards of our world, we have the responsibility to protect the environment. So would reintroducing species benefit or harm the environment further? What kind of responsibilities do we have to the environment?
On one hand, reintroducing them can increase diversity in the ecosystem, but there are risks of destabilizing one, so much consideration is needed before deciding which species to reintroduce. It is also a matter of power balance, because when humans have the unique power to bring back species, they might take less efforts to protect the endangered ones.
That is a very valid concern, but conservation and research are very different fields, and sometimes both must happen simultaneously to achieve the most desirable outcomes. For example, by creating suitable environments for animals we bring back, conservation efforts would also be aided.
I think we need to take into account how expensive this whole thing is going to be. We need to find a stronger and more transactional justification other than just moral responsibility.
So when deciding what extinct species caused by humans to reintroduce, extensive research should be done on the benefits they bring, as well as to minimize harms to the modern-day ecosystem.
In 1984, on April Fools, Diana Ben Aaron published a falsified article on the successful de-extinction of a mammoth, which immediately grabbed international attention.
And after all, why wouldn't it? The Earth is an environment that we all share, which is why it is imperative for the public to be involved in the debate around the ethics of the issue.
However, when these issues become popularized, they end up being framed as a spectacle instead of a legitimate advance in scientific research.
Yet, on the other hand, making it a spectacle could also be a method of broadening the considerations of the issue. By bringing it to the attention of the public, we'd be considering a key stakeholder.
Especially since once this technology is proven to be successful, we can never go back, and with that comes those that use it unethically or illegally.
So to sum up, should we reintroduce extinct species?
We believe that de-extinction should be a viable option.
However, we must also take into account various considerations. Thank you.